You may have forgotten who the Sons of Liberty were. They were a grassroots, young group of protesters who sometimes resorted to extreme forms of civil disobedience in their fight with the British Crown over taxation without representation. In 1773, they destroyed property, a valuable tea shipment, to emphasize their grievances. Members of the Sons of Liberty included Samuel Adams, John Hancock, James Otis, Paul Revere, and Dr. Benjamin Rush, among many others who we now equate with freedom, justice, and democracy. The Sons of Liberty didn't just mill about complaining. In addition to the Boston Tea Party, members burned tax collectors in effigy and looted and burned their homes. They also called for and enforced a boycott of British goods. Most cities in the colonies had chapters of the Sons of Liberty. These protests went on for a dozen years before any shots were fired. At this point, few people wanted to separate and become an independent nation. It was only because the British Crown didn't listen to the demands of the colonialist that the radicals began talking about independence. What could have remained a minor disagreement soon escalated into the Revolutionary War. The desire for fair taxes and representation inspired the formation of an army where none had existed before. The ill-trained, poorly rationed, and often barefoot colonialist stood up to the most powerful nation in the world for 8 dreadful years, until the British finally surrendered. 200 years later, in the 1960s, a ragtag coalition of groups stopped an illegal and morally reprehensible war against the people of Vietnam. They did this through legal and illegal means, such as the revelation of the Pentagon Papers. In 2020, new protests began, this time for racial, social, political, environmental, and economic justice. Just like the Sons of Liberty in 1773, the new Kids for Liberty used legal and illegal means in their fight for justice. Of overriding concern is the issue of taxation without representation. These people do not feel represented by their government. It's not just tea, but every facet of working people's lives that are taxed. Yet they have little influence on legislators who are owned by big business. Regressive tax measures started under President Reagan and continuing to this day result in the rich paying less and workers paying more. Each year the divide between the top 1% and the bottom 99% increases. Much of this wealth comes not from working harder or smarter, but from tax benefits. Now, more than in 1773, working people pay more taxes and receive less representation in government. The Kids for Liberty demand no taxation without representation.